Well, the main misconception is that as I see it, is that the machines are capable of reasoning.
Hi, I'm Ashish Pandya with Here Technologies, and I'm really pleased to be here today with Richard Windsor from Radio Free Mobile.
Great, thanks Ashish, thank you for having me.
Well, last year you described 2025 as a potential year of reality reset for AI. How did that work out, and what did you see as the most significant shift in AI adoption coming into this year?
Well, what I predicted last year was effectively is that a degree of reality would come more into the AI sector. The general problem has been is that there's an over-expectation of what AI is capable of, and I thought that a bit of reality would set in and expectations would drop. That hasn't happened in 2025. However, what has happened is that people are beginning to question the business model of providing compute. The other thing I think is also very positive is this standard called the Model Control Protocol, which was launched by Anthropic. I was expecting a lot of fragmentation in this space. Everyone go, oh no, I want to do my own. Hasn't happened. Everyone's adopted it. And what that means is that from a developer perspective, if I want to write an agent for Gemini or for ChatGPT to do all of these different things, I only have to write it once. Right. And so I think that will help push forward or make developers much keener to start to say, you know, we're going to start developing the applications, because that's what really needs to happen now. Technology's there. Yeah. You need to see the developers actually come up with interesting things that make consumers go, yeah, I'm going to use this more.
In terms of emerging AI technologies, which did you see as having the most significant potential disruption, and why?
So what we've always identified is that although we question whether AI can become more intelligent than humans anytime soon, where it does have some superpowers are in the ability to ingest, cross-reference unstructured data, and it is very, very good at that. What it's also extremely good at is a man-machine interface. So for the first time ever, you can actually start to communicate with a machine using natural language. And this has a number of immediate applications which we are starting to see come in towards market. There are two examples I'll give you. First one's automotive. All the automotive players are interested in the driver or the passenger using voice as the man-machine interface, because what that does, it gives them an opportunity to perhaps grab back some of the initiative that they lost to Google and Apple in the vehicle. The other one is smart glasses, because the interesting thing about smart glasses is you can't really type your inputs, you can't use a mouse. And so the ability to actually use voice has actually really propelled the usability of smart glasses forward.
Along those lines, you had warned against equating the hype around generative AI with superintelligence. Which misconceptions are still out there, and how are they impacting business strategies?
Well, the main misconception is that as I see it, is that the machines are capable of reasoning. The problem is that if you look at how these systems work, they are probabilistic, which means they rely on statistics to guess what the most likely next token, word, pixel effectively is. That is not reasoning. What we're seeing is, if you look at some of the use cases that people are starting to talk about and bring to market, they're much more narrow in their focus. It's like, I've got a use case here. Let me train it just to do that use case. What that allows them to do is to take that limitation of reasoning not being real, to actually push it forward and to actually make it a proposition that will actually work quite well.
You know, there's a lot of talk about AI bubble out there, and a lot of companies are still not monetizing AI in the way that they had expected to. So how should executives be thinking about balancing investment with return expectation?
Well, I think part of the problem is that the AI hype has led many executives to believe that if we just turn it on and give it to our employees, it'll work fantastically. Yeah. Reality is that's not the case. What actually happens is that if you actually take a model and you train it on your corporate data for a specific use case, which only about 5% of implementations have done, you start to see a positive return. So that's really where the focus needs to be. The whole idea of, if I just give ChatGPT Enterprise to my employees and they'll become twice as productive, that's what's not working. That's where they need to focus.
That makes a lot of sense in terms of where companies need to look forward. So along those lines, they're thinking about looking forward into 2026. What are the advancements that you're looking forward to? Is it an advancement in business models, model architecture, hardware? What are you looking forward to in 2026?
I think what we're going to see incremental, continued improvement in the models. It's going to be incremental. Whether there is a reset of expectations, I don't know. What I think we're also going to see is there is going to be a lot of attention put towards how can I make the compute business model make sense? Because if it doesn't make sense, then people are going to be more hesitant to roll out the compute, and then consequently you will actually end up with a shortage. Now, what that would lead you to is potentially the price of compute skyrocketing significantly if people start decline to roll it out. That would start to fix some of the financial problems around that actual business model. I expect to see a lot of progress there. People are also going to talk a lot about robots. That's the hot thing. I expect there's a lot of robots turning up here. The reality is the advances in AI that we've seen in the last 2 years put robotics onto the horizon. But it's a very, very far horizon. There are very substantial technical problems that limit robots' ability to actually navigate the human world, work in a general environment. So what I think you're going to see is there'll be a big push on robotics about, you're going to have your plastic pal who lives in your house, that kind of stuff. And then the reality will be applying robots in very specific situations, like factories. The beautiful part about a factory is the environment is static and it's stable. So if you train a robot how to navigate a factory and don't change it, it's going to work. Right. It's going to work well. Right. And so that's where I think you're going to see some of the real progress going forward. The only problem with that is the actual market for industrial robots at the moment is a little bit challenged.
Yeah. Well, that's great, Richard. Thank you. You've given us a lot to think about. Really appreciate your time and insights. And
pleasure as always.
Wishing you a great 2026.
You as well. Thank you so much. Cheers.